Now, with all this said, I'd like to introduce to you our speaker today. Our speaker is Vignesh. Vignesh is a human behavior expert with 16 years of experience doing group, inter, and intra-level behavioral process workshops. He's a professional member of the ISABS, which is the Indian Society for Applied Behavioral Science. He's also the managing director of India for Tigers Worldwide Logistics, India Private Limited, a part of Tigers Logistics, which is a $700 million multinational corporation dealing with international logistics. And finally, he is the trustee and founder of Discover Urja Charitable Trust, Project YV Care, working for vegan promotion. Without further ado, let's give Vignesh a round of jazz hands to welcome. Vignesh, the room is yours.
Hi, good morning, everybody, or rather good afternoon and good evening to people all over. So my name is Vignesh. Thank you very much for giving me this space. I'm audible, right? Yeah. So thank you very much for giving me this space and opportunity. I plan to do a different workshop. I want to do an interactive workshop. So let's see how it goes. So let's jump to my presentation. So welcome everybody to this community bonding program. We do this specifically for the vegan group, but this could be relatable to any and every community. So once again, thank you Animal Advocacy Conference Asia for inviting me and creating this space for all of us. So we jump ahead. So the difference over here would be, I will be a facilitator. I will try not to be a lecturer. So as far as possible, less lectures from my side. As a facilitator, I will make interventions and facilitate whatever processes are happening here. We will all jointly decipher the processes, understand what's happening. And so your inputs are needed. We will learn from the information and the data that comes up here. I will not bring in data from outside, but whatever comes up here is what we will understand. We will stay in the present, here and now. So while I do my job, there's some expectations from all of you, which will be that please actively participate. If you do not participate, there cannot be interactions. Please speak and share. Write your comments, speak. There will be interactions where the inputs from your side will be asked. Please share. Okay? Done. So we will immediately start some polling. In the polling, you have to just answer yes and no. So my colleagues will put the polls up. But so let's do the polling. Okay, we start with the polls. The first one is, most vegans come on a little bit too strong. You have experienced vegans, possibly one of you are a vegan, maybe. So what do you think? Do vegans come on too strong? So if we could do the poll now. Great. I hope everybody polled. Thank you very much. And the results are they still changing? No. 78% said yes. So we go to the next slide. Most vegans believe in absolutes. Absolutes is either this corner or that corner. And that usually is vegans believe they are right and non-vegans are wrong. What do you feel? 70% believe yes. Thank you. The next question. Vegans believe themselves to be holier than thou. They believe themselves to be more purer than most other people out there. So before we jump, let me make this clear. I am also a vegan, okay? So I am not an outsider. I am there as a vegan with you. Vegan groups compete with each other. Do the groups compete with each other? The next question. Some vegan groups feel they are more for the cause, closer to the cause than other vegan groups. We are the ones who really do the work. The others are doing a mixed work. They are not very pure. What do you feel? Can we have a poll on this, please? 62% feel yes. Just vegan groups have a subtle Cold War going on. Maybe because of intergroup differences or whatever reason. Okay. So 69% feel yes. Thank you. And now for the last one. Okay. Vegans want to do their own stuff. They want to do their own thing. Hence, we lack unity as one huge vegan community worldwide. Vegans want to do their own stuff and their own thing. What do you feel? Yes or no? Okay, so 62% feel yes. So these are the figures that we got. The poll, where an average comes 65%. So it does look like we have an issue. So while there may be differences about some issues being strong, some issues not existing for some of us, but the overall average does point that the average comes to 65%, which is 2/3. And so we do have an issue of us, the entire community, not being together. So this was important to establish that we have an issue as a community, not being together. But it's not a huge thing. Let's see ahead. So the next would be where we break up into small rooms. And since we are a small, cozy crowd, we will be very less people in a group. All the more better. You get to express, share, and talk more. So every group will be given 2 subjects. Please look at those subjects and write your points. Okay? Please write short and crisp statements. We will all share and look at it. And we'll generate some data. Okay? I'll explain to you. For example, group number 1 will get what are the differences in our physical traits. Physical trait is physical body. What is the visible difference? And then I'll ask the second subject, why do some vegans come on too strongly? What do you feel is the answer? Please write the points. So I would request that one of you in the group, please become the documenter. Group number 2, differences amongst our beliefs. Do we have differences in our belief? Does Angel think and believe something else? Do I believe something else? What are those belief differences? And then we answer, why do vegans believe in absolutes? What do you think is the reason? Short answers, please. Okay. Group number 3, differences in our cultural and regional background. I am from Mumbai, which is my region. Which region are you from? What is the culture that we believe, we follow? Everybody different. And then the other question, why do most vegans want to do their own thing? Why? What do you think is the answer? Group number 4, differences in our value system. What values do we profess? Individually, what are the differences? So you have to talk with each other and write what are the differences you see among the people in your own group, not outside. We don't talk about the world. We talk about the 2, 3, 4 of us who come together. Only us. Why do vegan group compete with each other? What do you think is the answer? Group number 5 does. Differences in education. What differences do you see? How much have you studied? How much have I studied? What class? Where? Which medium? What language? And why do some vegans feel more pure? Okay. So we do this breakup. And in your own groups, can we discuss this? Hi, everybody. Welcome back. So let's quickly have a look at what all data or information has come up. So group 1 has written this, the difference in the physical traits. And why do some vegans come on too strongly? Amazing. Group 2, the difference between beliefs. On the point, just the words. Nice. Ethical, I'm perfect, stock, perception, no country, great. Differences in cultural and regional backgrounds. Communication, corporate culture, political culture, religious beliefs, different. Why do most vegans want to do their own thing? Because each has different strength and interest. Strong passion, interpretation of what the main problem is, difference. Degree to how important the fight is. Everyone is exposed to different level of information. Nice. Differences in personal value systems. The weight we put on certain values, compassion and justice. Sometimes people think slaughterhouse workers get a lot of hate. We should direct anger towards the system, not the people, right? Good. Why do some vegan groups compete with each other? Compete for funding, resources. They have done much more than that. Some vegan define veganism differently, very confident they are right or even dogmatic. They think they have figured it all out. Nice. Last one. Differences in personal education. Catholic education, environmental friendly reasons, relating vegans with being highly educated, access to information. Why do some vegans feel more pure? Vegans for a longer time, seniors, superiority complex, privileged, wealthy vegans for health purpose. Wow, nice, nice. Even I liked it. Good information. Okay. So we just shared the small group data, the data that was generated between us. There is nothing like wrong and right. There's nothing like this is more perfect, that was not okay. This is what we believe. This is what has come from midst of us. Okay. So if I have to decipher the data, debrief, are we all physically different? We found yes, we are. Are we all mentally different? Do we think differently? We found that yes, we do. Are we all different emotionally? We all said some feel a lot more different emotion, different passion, feel more strongly. So we are different as well. Are we all different as individuals? We are. The small group I was talking in, they were different from me. Are we all a mix of different backgrounds? Are we all a different package? We are not just one person, we are a package of a background, huge, big one. The answer is obvious, there is. But sadly, the issue happens when we still want the other person to be like us. There's not one, but so much difference, but we still want the other person to be like us. Okay. We're going quite fast. We're going to continue for another 30, 40 minutes. Do you guys want to take a break? Any show of hands? That's supposed to mean yes or no? No. Okay. Great. So we'll continue because I think we're going easy. So I want to know, in the small group when we were all sitting and working, the small group, the small compact, what kind of statements were made by people? For example, when I spoke in my group, did I make a lot of I statements? I believe like this. I think it should be like this. I want this. Were there a lot of I statements made? Or were there a lot of he, she, they, them statements made? Like, oh, I think they should change this. I think they are responsible. Oh, they are doing a good job. He is like this. She is like that. You. Were those kind of statements made? Or were there a lot more statements of we and us? We, all of us, we, us, this is about us. What kind of statements did you hear in the group? Can we have a quick poll on this, please? On I statement, he, she, they, them statement, what did you hear more? Just choose one. The poll is coming up.
I think that's just while we're waiting for the poll to come up, I also see some comments in the chat box. I think some people might not be able to access the poll with the browser on their phone. So we have, let's see, we have some people saying they statements, we, us, they, and I. So we have a few answers in the chat box.
Has everybody answered? 18%, 25%, wow, and 50%. What is, oh, it's changing.
Yes, maybe we'll give people just a few more seconds.
Okay.
Sometimes the connection isn't great for all of us. So I think most of us have voted. We have 15 votes, and then a few people, oh, it's going up. And then a few people also typed in their answer in the chat box.
That's it. Okay. 31%, 19%, and 50%. Wow. Nice. Okay. So if I can just make some changes. One sec, guys. $31%, 19%, and 50%. Share the screen. Share. Okay. Is this visible, Angel? So I statements 31%. He, she, they, them statement 19%. We, us, everyone kind of statements 50%. Nice. Let's move ahead. We'll use this data. Okay. All data we generate, we will use. Just a quick run through. What do these I statements generally mean? And I'm using the word generally and usually. They need not mean exact. Generally, when the I statements are made, a person is within himself. He speaks from his own space. I am like this. I believe this. I am. So maybe you're not very sensitive to outside. Sure, if you want to say I am 6 feet, you have to say I. But usually the I statements are from your own space, your own sphere. He, she, they, them. The I statements are also responsible statements. I am responsible. I did this. You give yourself a lot of power also. Okay. As I said, this is generally, usually. It cannot be hard and fast, exact. He, she, they, them statements usually are where we put the onus out there. But sure, I have to say, she is thin, I'm fat. So those statements will come. But usually it means the onus is put out there. They should have changed. they are like this, he wasn't okay. So usually those statements are throwing it out there. The center is out there. And we and us statements usually mean we carry the onus together. I'm involving myself into it. We are all into this. So those are very nice statements to make. So I'm happy to say most of us, when we spoke over here, 50% was we and us statements. So this data is a little contradictory, because usually when there is an issue of the community not being together, the we and us statements come less. But all the good people are here. So that's why we got more we and us. Maybe. Okay. So let's quickly jump and understand Tuckman's model of group development. What's a group development? Now, all of us who have come together, we are a group. The small gathering that happened, that is also a group. So Tuckman's model defines and says that whenever a group comes together, they usually go through 4 phases. The first is the forming. The group forms. Ground rules are established. Formalities. Hello, my name is Vignesh. What is your name? Hi, where are you from? The forming happens. Introduction. And at this stage, a lot of guidance and direction is needed from whoever. The second stage is a storming stage, where after some time, people start communicating their feelings. They start saying what we should do, what we should not do. What is it? I agree with this, I don't agree with this. The storming happens. Difference of opinion and thoughts and feelings. Now that is a huge mess over there, storming. But out of which next stage comes, which is norming. Then norms are set. That, okay, guys, we will speak one person at a time. We will not be this. We will not be aggressive. We will not speak out of turn. Norms are set. So norming happens. And if everything goes well, then the group starts performing. Forming, storming, norming, and performing. Finally, a group comes together for one intention, which is performing. And performing is doing whatever task it came together for. That's performing. And finally, at the end of it, when all of it is done, is adjournment happens. The group ends. Like this group also came alive. And at the end of this, we will also adjourn. And we will go back. So every group comes alive, has a life. It is never a sequential step. Forming happens, storming happens, norming happens, difference happens, we go back to storming. No, I don't agree with this. Again, a storming happens. Then we are performing. And then we find, oh, performance is not happening well. Again, a storming happens. Or some people get upset, they go away, new people coming, a new forming happens. So group keeps moving around. But the more time it spends in performing is when the group is very efficient. If a lot of time goes in storming, we know it's not being set. Okay? This is just for our overall gist to understand. Tuckman's model. There are many models like this, but this is one of my favorites. And a very simple model as well. We jump. Next. So we'll watch a nice video. Angel, you'll play this, or do I play this? How does it happen?
I think Kaho would be playing this.
Kaho, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I think you're not hearing the audio. Let me try it again.
Thanks.
Great. So a nice, simple video. We have all seen different versions of it, but this is very cute. I like this one. And what I like the most in this, please do comment what you liked in this, okay? So let's have some sharing. What did you like in it? I'll share what I loved in it. I loved the fact that they were all looking so different, not very human, shades of gray. And as they performed, the group performed, they became human-like. So I like that. Please share what did you love about the video.
Yes, everyone, everyone, please feel free to type in the chat box, or even if you want to share your thoughts directly, you can say, I want to share, and maybe we can unmute you for a second. Yeah, I also love the video. It's really powerful, like simple and powerful, especially with the beginning. It was just black and white. You can get the feeling that it's a negative space for everyone, but then all of a sudden the music changes, it's all vibrant, and it's really beautiful at the end. We got some comments coming in. Love the synergy. Yes. Easily conveys a powerful message. Yes, agree. We are stronger together, helping each other instead of selfishly fighting. I like how it's visually surreal but realistic in its message. Very true. The music, yes, the music helps a lot to share the message. And with support to each other, we can rise. The love appeared when they learned to work out together, like work together. Don't worry about your connection, Rachel. How the strength of sharing is something we all love and immediately get such a warm and hopeful feeling. That's very true. Oh, interesting. Ellie just shared that there's a similar story in Japan, but with chopsticks instead of the spoons. Where can we watch this video again? I can share the link to the video right now. Oh, thank you, Kaho. Yes, this is what we as humanity needs to do, yes, for ourselves, for other earthlings, other beings, and for the planet.
Perfect. Thank you. Oh. Latika, working in unity will always help to grow us more. Rahul, it's not just food, but for everything. Great. Shall we move on? Thank you guys for sharing. Okay. So coming back to the group that we worked in, that all of us were in, usually people take up different roles. We don't know it. It happens on its own. But in every different group, we play a specific role. Some people end up being the note taker. Some people become the timekeeper, somebody the gatekeeper, somebody takes on the leadership role, someone just the monitor, and someone plays the devil's advocate. Oh, I don't think this will work. What about them? Some people play the gossiper. Some people play the helper. I'll help. Someone is the debater, the one who argues. Whatever point you say, he or she or they will argue. They play that role. Someone sometimes plays the aggressive role, the aggressor, the abuser. And the beauty is, we just don't play one role. Sometimes we shift from the leader. If I see the role I'm playing is not accepted, I may shift and become the abuser. So it all shifts. We don't play a specific role only. But whenever in a group, we end up playing some role which we are not even aware of. But we do things which is a specific, there's a lot more. This is just not it. There's a lot more. We can keep sharing and saying what role I play. In fact, anybody wants to share a different role they play, please comment and let us know. What role do you think you play? If any different role, do tell us.
Yes, if anyone wants to share, actually, other than tapping the chat box, which might take a while, you can let us know, and we can unmute you so that we all get more intimate, more engaging. So please don't be shy. Yeah, the empath. Which role do we typically play when we are in a group?
And that may be a small group, a large group, any group. Okay. So shall I move on? Or do we wait?
It's up to you, Vignesh. We still have a bit of time, so if you want to stay here for a bit, I think people are starting to come in with some answers, which is amazing.
Okay.
Would you like me to read out some of the answers, or are you?
Yeah, please.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Actually, since I'm sharing the screen, maybe I can't see what's happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Now I see them.
So we've got Rachel saying sometimes she plays the leader when people are shy to speak up. That's great for like standing up and taking that role. And Gigi says that she's the outcast. I'm interested to know more, if you don't mind sharing. Amrita, validating or pacifying, part of empath, I guess. When Rachel is shy to speak, she becomes a note taker. That's good too. That's very helpful, being the note taker. Yvonne is the helper, connector, leader, and gatekeeper. Yes, we've got Mimi saying she's a combination. I think we all have, well, I'm not the behavioral expert, correct me if I'm wrong, Vignesh, but I think we do have different facets, do we? We take up different roles.
Yes, all of us have different facets.
Mm.
And many a time with the group combination, we very smartly and unconsciously pick up a role. If I'm sitting with peers who I feel are way better than me, I will play a different role. If I judge and I unconsciously have estimated that this group is totally out of my league, I may play a different role. I may suddenly become a very, I don't mean anything, I may suddenly become a very shy person. It all changes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing like good, bad, or right. It's just awareness. The roles we play differently. So,
thank you everyone for sharing your thoughts and even some of your like personal experiences and feelings.
great. Okay. So we thank you very much for sharing. Very nice. I could not see it earlier, so sorry. In fact, this is one workshop where I'm at my calmest, because I don't know what's happening out there. Else I'm usually a very excited guy. So here I have no idea I'm waiting. So a different role. Anyway. But as I said, there is no judgment about any of these roles. What we need to understand is the roles we play sometimes in that specific group, that specific scenario, that specific circumstances becomes either dysfunctional role or functional role. For example, where there's already a leadership established and I suddenly want to play the leadership role myself, then it leads to a lot of conflict over there. So it becomes a little dysfunctional role where I'm challenging, competing, and already a couple of leaders existing, where they're already XYZ. So the roles that we play sometimes become functional and sometimes dysfunctional. That's what we have to take care and be aware of. So as I said, every group is different. When we all came together over here in this online group, we were not personally in touch, but whatever we could through Zoom. Did you feel welcome? Did you feel heard? Did you feel valued? Did you feel your difference was respected? Key question, do you feel this group is performing? And performing is, we are sitting here to learn, to understand. So do you think that performing is happening? Whatever we're doing is performance, but the aim, the objective, is that happening? And in case it's not happening, do you see us go back and reset it, renorm, and then come back to performing? As an analysis, what stage do you think is this group more in? Are we forming all the time? Or are we storming all the time? Are we norming a lot? Or are we performing? Which stage are we more in? So if you would share your inputs on any of this. Do you feel welcome? Do you feel heard? Do you feel valued? Do you feel your difference respected? Is the group performing? Are we resetting the norm where needed? What stage do you think we are more in? Okay, please share. Yeah.
Thank you, Vignesh. Again, everyone, feel free to share in the chat box, or if you want to speak up, you're more than welcome to. This is our last workshop of the conference, so if you want to speak up, this is your chance. I think Vignesh has stopped sharing your screen. So I wonder.
See the screen?
I'm not sure. I wonder if it would be a good idea to have the questions up. Yeah, maybe. So we can look at them while we think. That might be easier, at least for me.
Sure.
Thank you. Does anyone?
Am I sharing the screen now?
Yes, you're sharing the
Great.
PowerPoint. Yes.
So a request, Angel, when I'm sharing the screen, I can't see anything else. So if you'll just read, if it's coming, I will know.
Okay, okay. We've got Anil from India saying yes to number 1 to 5. So the first 5 questions. And Yvonne saying yes. Yvonne felt welcomed, heard, and valued. Differences were respected and accepted. That's very nice to hear. Thank you. And you can be honest too. If you didn't feel welcome, you can say it. We won't be angry. Rahul from Singapore said, personally, I feel 1000% welcomed, thank you, heard and valued, because everyone here in this community is so nice. Thank you. And Sophie said that she arrived a little bit late in the conference, but yes, this is a nice open talk with an ample communication time. And Manya from our team said that for the last question, which stage did we feel we're in? Manya thinks that we are mostly in the performing stage. And I can share too, I think that in this particular session, I definitely feel heard. I think that Vignesh has given us a lot of opportunities to share our thoughts. And does anyone think that when we need to maybe reset some norms? Is there anything that maybe we can change, improve on? Our team also added anything we as a conference organizing team, the AACA team, can improve on. We would love to hear, and we would really value your input. Okay, so Anil said, yes, could be more of a polling system. I'm not sure if I understand you 100%. Do you mean, would you like to see more polls, or is there anything, or are the polls not working for you? You can let us know later on. You can message any of us. Okay, more polls. Yes, I think this is like, polls are simple ways to add more interactivity into workshops. And Amruta from India, big yes to all questions. Everyone gave each other a very safe space and we're welcoming. Maybe because we have a similar purpose for being here. I would agree. And Mimi from our teams shared that she thinks that Mr. Vignesh has been a very warm and gracious teacher, and hearing about what our participants expressed, it felt comforting to know that many expressed the same opinions, and she personally would agree with, and she feels very welcomed. Thank you, Mimi. Yes, we're here for the same reason, so it feels like a safe space to share ideas. Thank you, everyone, for your great input.
Great. Thank you very much. So I share my screen. Okay, is it sharing? Great. So practically everything we're doing over here is with some purpose. So why do I want to know about this online group? How is it functioning? Because the group is smart, and I don't mean only Angel asking, should we set some norms? Every person in the group resets norms. For example, if someone finds that his chat is not reaching, he tries a different way. So everyone takes onus and becomes more involved. It's not just the monitor or the leader who does it. Okay, all of us have to do it. And that's when a group functions amazing. We go ahead. So what is the significance of this small group and data that we generated here? Why did we do this small group work, generate a data and all of that? Because our task is usually to find out how we can bring that big community out there together. That was our purpose. So why the small group data and the small group functioning? Because usually factual says our behavior is the same. We don't function much differently in a large group setting, the world out there, than we function in a small group. Our behavior will not change much. Our base stays the same. So how you function in a small group, in the world out there, everything is a group. It's not defined. So when you're liaising with people out there, your neighbors or whoever, that's one more group. So groups are not specifically designed. Let's come together, 20 of us. The world out there is multiple small groups and large groups that we function in. So our behavior and whatever stays the same. Hence, important to know, what role do I usually end up playing? Is it functional or dysfunctional? When do I change? Awareness. And what stage am I in? Am I helping or not? So this awareness of how I function in a small group. So in a small group, it is easier to note and learn. Because in a large group, too much stuff happening, very difficult to focus. And many a times we unknowingly, the key word is unknowingly, end up playing functional or dysfunctional roles. And who defines this functional or dysfunctional? Is it working towards the purpose, the target, the performance decided for that group? Like I may say, oh, but I have done nothing. I'm a nice, quiet person. I did not trouble anyone. How am I to blame? My role, which I played, was not functional towards the purpose. So without any judgment, if we can just see, that's important. We end up functioning in the large group, in the big world out there, but caught up and lost in our own small worlds. The differences you saw, we worked on the differences that all of us have, the beliefs we have, our education, our cultural, our regional background, the whole big package we have, our baggage out there. We are usually caught in that. And from there, we function in the big world. And we expect everybody else to be like us. And that is where the difference happens. So individually, this difference happens. Even in a group, the small groups, the different vegan groups are also a package. Like all of us coming together, we have become one package. 25, 30 of us, different characters, different identity, the way we connected with each other, what we liked about our group, we became one package. Now with any other group, when we liaise, we expect them to be like us. I like this, so you must be like this. And that's when the mess starts happening. When we function from our own small world, either individually or the small group, whichever we are part of. Okay? So while it is very easy to say, oh, they must change, they should do this, they have a problem, the only change I can do is in myself and my small group, whichever I function from. Okay? So we create the world that we want. All of us create the world that we want. So some feedback. Please tell me, comment, share. What is it that we cherish and celebrate about our vegan community? the huge vegan community, what do we cherish and celebrate about it? What is it that you would like to see more of in this huge vegan community? And if you can say some specific behaviors, better. What is it you would like to do, be more of in this community? These three questions, if you can share. And this now we're talking about the big vegan community, the big world out there. What do you like about this community? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to do more and be more of? Please share. I'll keep these questions on the screen.
Hi, I'm Rachel from Group 3, and we had discussed that. I'm so sorry, I can't. Can I see the questions? So we had discussed that we want to cherish and celebrate about our vegan community is that people are attentive to each other as we have the same goal together, and the community is very welcoming to new people even if they are new to veganism, and support them with all the products and help them to get it. And the second one is what we like to see more in our community. We actually discussed that we hope we can spread more awareness, especially in Asia, as if we all know that Asia is still lacking of awareness, and especially veganism is still not really that popular in Asian countries, especially my country. And for the last one is what would you like to do more of this community? So we actually discussed that we hope we can take the lead and share more awareness to everyone, especially also the Asian countries, as we need to let more Asian people know that veganism do exist. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel. I think, Marcy, I'm so sorry, I don't know which group you're from, but you would like to add a point. So tag team, could we?
Yes, hi.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, thanks. Firstly, thank you everyone for setting this up, and nice talking to you again, Vignesh. We had a little chat a few months earlier, and there's lots of points that we shortlisted there. But I just want to add to what the previous speaker spoke, because I was part of that group where we shortlisted those points. When we're talking about lack of awareness in Asia, I think something that I'd like to highlight, which is different in Asia than it is in a lot of other countries, is that in Asia, and I'm talking more India, because I belong to Bombay. The mindset here is that people think that if they're vegetarian, they're almost vegan. I think a lot of people don't address that problem in India, and they don't realize how big that problem is, because in India, when you are born, we have, unlike other countries, the population of vegetarians in India is much larger than what it is in other Western countries. So it is even more difficult to bring about a shift, because when you are born, you're always taught that being vegetarian is almost the purest and the least cruel thing that you can do. So in India, what happens is, when you go, and unlike other countries, when you try and get people aware about the crimes of veganism, they think that they're almost 99% through on the track, doing what they should be doing, which is why there is a lot of resentment and a lot of rigidity to get these guys to move, which is not the case in other countries, because rarely do you find countries where you have a large population of people who are so many vegetarians. You either have meat eaters, and it's very clearly evident to see the harms and the cruelties involved in those categories. So, which is why I reiterated that the awareness is extremely important. But when I'm talking about awareness, I'm not talking about the kind of awareness that we're talking in other countries, where we're talking about, climate change and, cruelty factors, because people are more sensitive to those issues. In India, there is a different kind of awareness that is required. It is the awareness of trying to explain to people the difference between, vegetarianism and veganism, and how vastly different they both are. and how you do continue contributing to cruelty even after being absolutely vegetarian. So I'm sorry to bring up something that's very specific to my country and my interest, but I just thought it was a point worth making. So I'll let you guys continue with the other great conversation that was going on before this.
So Ellie is from the group with Yvonne, Rahul, Amruta, Manya, Madhav. And to the first question, what they cherish or like to see in the vegan community is, it's motivating to see how young people are resistant to the system. So I guess that means that young people are starting to realize that the system is not very functional. I hope that's one way to interpret it. And it's a challenge to see behind what we've been conditioned to believe. The community feeling is nice, and we have compassion for animals and for each other. We also have common goals. To the second question, what we would need more in the community, we would need more acceptance from other vegans because everybody is different. We might have gone vegan for different reasons, for the animals, for health, the environment, and judgment would not be really helpful, so no judgment. More experienced activists can mentor newer activists. It will be more powerful if more young people and children are in the movement. And then finally, for the third question, what do we want to do more or be more of in the community? Acceptance. So accepting others within the community, less judgmental. We have to polish our communication skills and overcome the challenge of sometimes being too emotional. So that was from the group with Ellie. Thank you for taking notes, Vignesh. I'm just going through some of the comments. So I think the last would be our group 1. I'm just going to read out some of the notes from Ziji. Thank you so much for taking the notes. So the first question, what do we cherish? The vegan community is warm and friendly and welcoming to new vegans. Vegans in different communities face similar experiences. So we have like common experience that we share and we can talk about. To the second question, what do we need more of? The importance of being kind to people with different opinions and having the courage to communicate with them, so people with different opinions, effectively, keeping in mind that there's no one solution to our problems, this problem. And then finally, for the last question, what do we want to be more of or do more of? So someone expressed in our group that there are a lot of Western-based organizations. So we would like to see more local efforts based in Asia, and similarly more awareness and educational events. So that was from group 1.
So the key points that were spoken. Am I audible? Clear, Angel? Yeah. So in group work, in behavioral science, we look at everything as a group and group processes. So as a group process, if you look, the statements which came up are usually common for all human groups. We want more acceptance. We want more understanding. We want less judgments. We want better communication. There should be more local work happening. More compassion, more kindness. Courage should be appreciated. So these are all of this are usually human needs which stay common in all groups. So most of us being human beings, they want this, we want this. What is amazing about a group, our vegan community is, we are very welcome, very warm, very friendly. The community feeling is quite nice. We all have a very common goal. So while that exists, there is something that happens which does not fulfill the other human needs that we all of us have, because of which these differences arise. So do not forget this stuff. All this polling that we did, where 65% of us ended up saying, yes, we do have issues. But as a process, if we break it down, it's generally human needs not met. All of us caught in our human issues, not looking at the bigger picture. So while it's easy to say we have to do this, it doesn't work that way. We all have to touch our own needs, understand the other person's needs, and as a group process, it has to move. Okay? So for the ones who came in late, we had a polling in which we asked certain questions. Do vegans come on too strong? Do vegans believe only in absolutes? Do they believe they're more purer? Do they compete with each other? Do some people feel they are more for the cause? Is there a cold war going on? Do vegans want to do their own stuff, not be with the community? The polling, the answers we got was this. So we have issues. Okay. So we come to the closing. So in group processes, you need to understand the need and what processes are happening. And that's how we function. There cannot be a list of solutions given. Okay, Angel, what you need to do is you need to be more compassionate. You need to be less judging. It's so easily said, but it doesn't work that easily. Okay. So we have all generated the data. We have all shared. We are aware there is an issue. We know what we want to see more of. And we saw how we performed in a small group. And we loved it when the group accepted us, acknowledged us, did not judge us. In this small group we saw. And we loved to be a part of a group which is performing. And where needed, we went back and we renormed. So with this awareness in mind, guys, let's create the world that we want, which all of you stated, which you want. You will have to do something. What you do, the steps you take is what will matter. Don't say, I can't do much. I am just a newcomer. I'm a new boy. They have to do it. Then you put the onus out there. So you have to take initiatives. You have to do whatever to create the world you want. So that's it. Go and help create the world you wish for. Feel for the bigger cause. Thank you very much, everyone. Any question, answers, any feedback, feel free. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Vignesh. This is such a great start and great way to end this, your presentation and also the workshops that we have with this conference. So everyone, please share your question in the chat box or type in I want. Oh, yeah, maybe if you want to ask the question directly, you can do so. We can unmute you.
And if I can just add one point. As far as possible, if you can start taking ownership of your questions and be a part of it, you start making the change now. Am I clear? Understanding? Take the onus and start creating the world with your questions or the solutions you're offering.
Ask, if that's okay, I'll ask a very hopefully quick and but maybe specific question. So I am just wondering, should we always encourage shy people to speak up, or allow them to be comfortable in their state. Because just now, a few people actually said in the chat box that, you know, the role we play in the group, right? There's like there are different roles, and some people say that they might be shy. Do we want to encourage them to actually be more active, or just let them be comfortable?
People always make the choices they want to make. You and me cannot. When they choose, they choose. So my only invitation is, guys, break your boundaries, expand them, go for the next level.
Okay, thank you. I'll let that sink in for a moment. Okay, and Sophie asks, will this be rewatchable for people who missed the beginning? Yes, we have this on record, and we will add subtitles to the recording and then upload it onto our YouTube channel. Thanks for the question. And we have a question from George asking, do you have any example of successful new norm creation that overcomes the initial resistance?
Did not get the question.
Mm-hmm. So do we have any examples of successful new norm creation, I guess, where the initial resistance is overcome? So I think in the model with the 4 phases, in the storming phase, if I'm correct, there you said that some people might show resistance to control. I hope that's what you mean, George, by the initial resistance.
So if I can add over here, generally in this work, we talk in the here and now. I mean, I can tell you a story about out there, but it's out there. You cannot connect with it. It's just a story for you. So we usually look at things in the here and now. So in the here and now, renorming happened. A couple of things Angel introduced and said, can we do it like this? And she broke the way it was happening. So we renormed and said, okay, great, let's break out into a room again. So you renormed and it performed. The end result was better. It is a risk she took because it was not my design. So we usually look at the here and now. In the here and now, renorming happened. People tried new stuff and it all seems to have worked.
Thank you. Thank you for answering, and I hope that answers your question, George. We have some comments in the chat box. Different people have different ways of communicating. Some can express verbally, some in written form, and other ways. Inclusion for all, yes, that's very important.